High school senior Yasmin Lopez has been interested in emergency medical services for a long time.
Ever since 8th grade, I was always interested in the ambulance. I was interested in the medical field.
So when it came time to enroll in high school, she chose a school with a program that trains kids in emergency medical services and firefighting.
And then I instantly fell in love with fire science, the medical services, treating patients, CPR.
Recently, Yasmin showed off her skills at Los Angeles Unified School District's first student firefighting competition, where teams from different high schools compete. In one exercise, Yasmin sprinted across the roof of the Los Angeles Fire Department headquarters, dragging a 50-foot fire hose, and handed it off to her teammate, Sergio Garcia, who attached the nozzle to a fire hydrant, wrenched open the pressurized valve, and then ran back to help the rest of the team aim at a simulated fire.
I believe this was a fantastic experience, especially for those who want to build their teamwork, leadership skills, and just grow as a person. And I'm so proud of our team. We worked so hard. We put the sweat, the tears, the dirt into it.
This is Education Beat, getting to the heart of California schools. I'm Zaidee Stavely. This week, high school students build teamwork, confidence, and leadership skills in Los Angeles fire academies. The firefighting and emergency medical service academies at LA Unified are part of the district's career technical pathways, 3 to 4 year programs that prepare students with hands-on experience for jobs. School districts across California have expanded this kind of job training in recent years, not only to give students skills, but also to keep them engaged in school. My colleague Vani Sanganeria has been writing about this for EdSource. Hi, Vani.
Hey, Zaidee.
You were there at this firefighting competition. Tell us what it was like.
The first event that I saw was the bowling event, which is where you have a set of bowling pins, but instead of a bowling ball, we have a fire hose and throwing it at the bowling pins, trying to knock them all down, aiming for a strike, which kind of tests, a scenario in which you have to break into a home. There's a bunch of fire and you can't go in, but you can throw the fire hose at where you need it to be thrown to save someone. The energy was just electric. And every time someone hit a strike, the entire gym erupted in applause. They had a sledgehammer event where they're essentially slamming down on a piece of metal, trying to push it towards the end of this 6-foot slab. And whoever does it the fastest wins. And then we went outside up to the roof of the headquarters, and they sprinted all the way across to the other end of the roof, holding those heavy fire hoses. And then they were rushing to attach all the different components of the hose and attach it to the fire hydrant. And then you had this explosion of water, and then making sure that in the area where there's a simulated fire, that they're aiming correctly. And whoever does that properly and in the shortest time possible wins the event.
Okay, and then you spoke with a bunch of these cadets. What surprised you when you were talking with them?
I think what surprised me is I saw how competitive they were at each of the events, but when I spoke to them, they didn't care as much about beating their opponents as much as they did about beating their own times and proving to themselves that they've worked really hard to be better firefighters, and that this competition is a test of that, and they feel that they've performed their best. And they saw this competition as an opportunity to become better first responders.
Alexa Alvarez is a junior at Susan Miller Dorsey High School, where she's the deputy chief of the fire team.
My favorite moment, I would personally say, was when one of my cadets, he did have that much confidence to when he was bowling, and he didn't think he was going to hit it, and I just kept encouraging him, and he actually got it, and he may not have gotten a strike, but he got a really good hit, and I was very proud of him. So I will say that's probably one of the happiest moments, because it was like I was pushing someone to do well, and they really did do well.
And here's Sergio Garcia, a senior at Banning High School, where Yasmin also attends.
The fire service isn't a competition. We work together. As the captain said, we're strong as our weakest link. So even though we competed against each other today, there was winners, there was losers. We all did our part. We all hope to be first responders. We all hope to help this community.
Vani, so these are high school students. Once they finish high school, are they ready to be firefighters?
So they still have to go and get a fire science degree at a technical institute. So they aren't ready to be firefighters yet. They still have a lot more instruction and a lot more training and certifications. But what they do gain is a head start. A lot of them already have emergency medical services certifications. So like if they want to be a paramedic, they can do that. A lot of them already have certifications in CPR, lots of basic medical training, rescue training. And they have something that is underrated is the physical preparation. There's a lot of strength and conditioning and endurance that goes into this. And for a lot of people who want to become a firefighter but don't have the opportunity to be in an academy like this, I think it's a huge learning curve. And a lot of what the students told me is they're really proud of how strong they've become, how their like endurance and their mile pace has gotten so much better over the years that they've been training to do this. And not just that they feel proud of being stronger, but they feel proud of being stronger to serve their community, to save people.
One of the things that stood out to me from your story is that for a lot of the students, the fires in LA last year kind of became a turning point in their path. Can you share more about that?
Yeah, so for a lot of these students, they were in the middle of their fire academy at high school, and they hadn't yet done a lot of the hands-on training, but they had taken a lot of the courses, learned a lot about fire and medicine. And what they told me is the fires really made things real for them.
Here's Alexa Alvarez.
As time went on and the fire was getting worse, I was watching the news how these firefighters were trying to put out all these fires, trying to contain it, especially the wildland firefighters. Some of them are like hand crews where they're just volunteers. I gained a lot of respect for them as volunteers because they don't get paid to contain these fires.
And Yasmin Lopez.
For me, it made me realize how real this was. It's not only just a game, it's real life. It's life or death. Everyone's life is on the line, sacrifices, and you just have to stay with a positive mind because this is a very dangerous situation, especially with like the fires, the deaths.
And Andrea Aguirre, also from Banning High School.
When people's houses were burning down, they were there. They did not stop. They didn't have any breaks, and I feel like that motivated me to never stop doing what I'm doing because they didn't stop when the houses were collapsing, when the wildfires were spreading. They kept pushing. Even though they had families at home waiting for them, they were pushing for their families because they've brought a lot of people joy. And I've seen videos where people are I'm so thankful for all these firefighters that they helped me save my house. This house was the only thing that I've ever had left of my family. So I feel like that has motivated me to continue pushing.
Yeah. A lot of them organized with LAFD to help distribute supplies and clothes to victims of the fires who had lost loved ones or lost their houses in the fires.
Vani, what other career and technical education, or CTE, pathways exist in LA Unified?
So LA Unified has expanded their career and technical education in recent years. They have about 435 pathways ranging from engineering to technology to business, construction, obviously fire and emergency medical services. They have photography, they have patient care, healthcare, sports medicine, and a lot of students are now opting into these programs. They had about 1,000 students complete internships through CTE programs in the 2024 to 2025 school year. And these programs also have a pretty high graduation rate. They have about a 97% graduation rate. I spoke to one student who was in the robotics program. She told me that she never saw herself as being in STEM, and she also felt kind of discouraged by the fact that robotics seemed to be for boys, but she was able to connect with this teacher who was also a woman in STEM, and she eventually eventually became the president of the robotics club. A lot of students just try out CTE programs, and then they're able to figure out whether they really like it, whether it's for them, maybe it's not. But it's less about being committed to one career or one role. A lot of the students in the fire academy, some of them want to be firefighters, some of them want to be paramedics, some of them want to be doctors and anesthesiologists. And what they told me is that they never felt confined to the role of a firefighter, especially when you're that young. You don't know what you want to do, but they still opt in to these very specific career-focused programs because they feel like they can develop skills, they can develop leadership, and they can just kind of grow into themselves in ways that they might not have with a less focused kind of curriculum.
The high school students Vani spoke with said the fire academies have helped them learn skills they can use in any job. Here's Alexa Alvarez again.
You gain so many things that even if you're not going to be a firefighter, whatever career you pick, this program helps you grow as a person, as a character, to help you in your future. The communication skills goes a long way because I know I used to be a very shy and very introverted person. I'm not saying I'm still not, but I'm able to be more open about what I think, how I feel, and also being able to take a pause and articulate my words.
Andrea Aguirre says before joining the fire program, she was afraid to try new things.
But now I'm honestly, if they tell me to do something, I'll do it. I don't get as scared anymore, and I feel like I'm more open-minded now. And I like competition now. I used to not like the competition. I feel like now in the future, I'll always take, you always have to be competitive, never give up. They also help you with interviews, for the future, for any type of job you want to get hired on. They show you how to build the right resume, how to apply to colleges. I feel like it was honestly the best thing I've ever done.
Vani, one of the points of career technical education pathways is also to sort of keep kids engaged and excited about school, right?
Yeah, as we know, students are feeling more disconnected, less engaged since the pandemic. And one way to engage them that schools have found is the community that you're able to offer through career technical education. And that includes not just the peers that they're studying with, but a lot of them also go out into the community. They go into workplaces, they meet professionals in the jobs that they want, and they have internships in their communities. So they're not kind of stuck at school. With the Fire Academy, for example, they spend at least 2 days out of the week off-site at a fire station. I also spoke with 2 students in the Patient Care Academy at Bravo Medical Magnet High School, and they spend 2 days out of the week working at LA General Hospital. So they're working directly with patients, with the doctors.
And there's also a new report on how these pathways improve outcomes for students, right?
So this new report by a nonprofit research institute called SRI International, it shows that students who are in CTE programs at LAUSD have significantly higher rates of completing A through G courses, which is the college preparatory curriculum that students in California need. They also have better graduation rates, and they have much better college enrollment. One thing it did note was that these positive outcomes depend a lot on students completing CTE pathways. So about 2/3 of all students at LAUSD take at least one CTE course, but only about 1/5 complete a pathway. A lot of students, they don't hear about a CTE pathway until it's too late, because usually you have to sign up either in your freshman year or your sophomore year. And a lot of schools also treat CTE as kind of an elective course rather than something that is comprehensive and that students need to be guided throughout the 4 years.
Thank you so much, Vani.
Thank you, Zaidee.
At the end of the competition, Yasmin Lopez's team from Banning High won. She says after graduation, she hopes to become a paramedic and a firefighter and work in the Los Angeles Fire Department.
This competition made me realize how good of a team we are. So I'm going to take away that, because together we're stronger, we're faster, we know what we're doing because we know each other. Especially with becoming a firefighter, you have to work together in order to extinguish that fire. So that's a very critical skill that everyone needs, and I'm going to continue to build on that because I love working with others, especially with diversity.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Education Beat, Getting to the Heart of California Schools, a production of EdSource. You can find a link to Vani's story in our podcast notes and at edsource.org. Our producer is Coby McDonald. Special thanks to the students featured in this episode: Yasmin Lopez, Alexa Alvarez, Andrea Aguirre, and Sergio Garcia, and to reporter Vani Sanganeria. Thanks also to editor-at-large John Fensterwald. Our theme music is from Blue Dot Sessions. This episode was brought to you by the Stewart Foundation and the S.H. Cowell Foundation. I'm Zaidee Stavely. Join us next week and subscribe so you won't miss an episode.